So, hello there, folks.
Hey there!
It's Würfel Cast again, and it's Würfel Cast Special episode again, because we're going to do something a little bit different than we usually do in the Würfel Cast. It's more of a huge top 3 lists going on here recently, yeah? I mean, latest episodes that we had, so... And today we're going to do the...
You might say that this is a top 78 list.
Kinda, yeah. So... But here we're gonna go quickly. We're gonna recite the alphabet through board games, and
A, B, O.
okay, yeah, we picked 3 games for each letter. There might be some letters that have less than 3 games on my side, at least. I don't know if Kyle, you said you filled all of yours.
I think I did. I'm checking my chart, but I think I filled every letter.
Okay.
Yep, looks like I've got 3 for each letter. That's something.
Yeah, the thing is that I try to avoid the games like I could fill them all, but then I would say that, I'm going to pick this game and I hate this game, but let's pick it because it has this letter, Why do that? But anyway,
I don't think I put any games I hate on here.
Yeah. There are some games that I'm like, they're okay. I could play them, but, it's not my first choice there. So... but it's maybe just very, very few of them, probably. Most of them are nice. Okay, so anyway, this is Alphabetic Top 3 Appaloosa. Let's try to name it somehow.
I taught you that phrase. It was dangerous.
Yeah, it was dangerous. Appaloosa is the new... is the new black, or how do you say it? Black is the new orange or something?
I don't think it's very new. I think it's from a little while ago, but that's all right. We'll make it work.
We'll make it. Yeah. We're not talking about anything else, which is common nowadays. But anyway, I think without further ado, we're going to start. And each one of us, we're going to go through their 3 games at once. So you do your 3, I do mine. So you start, I think. And I'm going to quickly just show you these games on the shared screen. But I'm not going to go through them that much. So we can finish this episode
today.
Today. It won't be today for me, but at least in a reasonable time. Anyway,
okay.
It's letter A. What's your A?
All right. So my number 3 game for A is an old classic, Agricola.
Okay.
My number 2 A. You want me to wait and have you show it?
You can just a few words about that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Agricola is one of those classic feed your people farming games. It was a game I played a ton of when it came out. I took it to Budapest when I lived there, and we used to sit in the cafe and just play it. A great fun game about farming, and definitely starts with the letter A. My number 2 A game is Arkham Horror, the card game, the living card game. We talked about that game a lot. It's taking on various monsters, playing through a story, very large, very thematic story type game with Cthulhu. Well, actually, so far not with Cthulhu, but with his friends. My number 1 A game is not a surprise to anyone who followed my top 100, but that is Aeon's End, a cooperative game, a deck builder, where you're fighting against some sort of a big monster with friends or by yourself. And it's just a lot of fun and definitely starts with the letter A. So that's my 3 A's.
That was really, really fast. Yeah. Just quick comments about I've played Aeon's End. It was a nice experience. Really good, kind of a card cope with kind of a cool system of the portals open, and so you can pull the spells on them. And Arkham Horror, the card game, that's a great experience, but I think Arkham Horror, the card game, is meant to be a solo game, though I enjoyed it more with 2 players. And Agricola, I've never played this one. I played Caverna, but I try to avoid Uwe Rosenberg games right now because they're not my style. So that's that.
Okay.
Now, all right. So I didn't put my games in any order. So it's just 3 games. I'm gonna name them as they are listed here. So anyway, first one is Abyss. And Abyss, a gorgeous game by Bruno Catala and Ludovic Blanc. Sorry, Charles Chevalier. And this is a game about the sea creatures. You are you are getting the allies, which give you the kind of influence points. That then you get the lords, and then the lords give you the locations. So it's kind of a progressive set collection with cool, unique powers from the lords. And you're trying to get the most points, and you can play with these small pearls, marble or whatever, the plastic pearls that look like pearls. So they're really cool. Then my second game is Aquatica. I played Aquatica with you during my trip to US, and
Yes.
that's a really, really good engine building game. I need to play it more. I really like that you can go through different, like you can get to different objectives, but I really like the kind of it's like a card building, it's tableau building, but you're kind of using the cards progressively as well. So I like the progression in the kind of engine of the game. So Aquatica is very good at that. And my third game is Anachrony. Anachrony is an amazingly big and sprawling and huge worker placement game, but has this kind of a set collection, and kind of you're always creating more workers and more worker spots for yourself. So you are expanding all the time, and you can borrow resources from the past, and then you have to bring them back to the past. Otherwise, you get those minus points, those errors, whatever they are. It's a really cool game with really cool worker placement mechanic. I really appreciate the design here. Plus, the theme comes through despite it being very mathematic game. So, yeah, that's my 3 A games.
There you go.
Triple A.
I played all of those.
Okay. So anyway, let's go to B.
All right. Am I going first for B, or are you?
You're going first for B. We're just gonna go back and forth like a ping pong game.
My number 3 B game is a game that no one's ever heard of. That's Blood Rage.
Okay.
It's obviously well known. It's a nice Viking sort of adjacent theme with big monsters that are fighting each other. It's got a lot of drafting, card play. It has a mechanism that I liked from another game, which might show up later. A chaotic game from Eric Lang back in the day. Just a lot of fun. I enjoy playing it when I get a chance to. I wish my pieces were nicely painted. I know that's something that I could probably arrange, but have not done. Anyway, great game, and it starts with B, so that's Blood Rage.
Yeah, that's nice.
My number 2 B game is a tiny cooperative game that I played the first time with you in Estonia, and that is Burgle Brothers. And it is the box is tiny. The game, however, is great. It's a good thematic game where you're a team of thieves going into a building, trying to find your way up to find and open safes and escape with a helicopter on the roof. Just a lot of fun, and I have a huge tower for it, so even better. My number 1 B game is a game that I don't know anybody. Well, I know some people who like it. I know Victor likes it, and he has a friend who likes it, but I know you don't. And that game is The Bloody Inn. And it's the game where you are essentially welcoming people to your inn. They're not paying you enough, so you kill them and bury them in the backyard and pick their pockets. It's an interesting game of sort of some hand management, action management, and also managing your money, because you have to make sure you get the right amount at the right time so you don't waste any. And it's a fun game. It's very small. It has very striking artwork based on a movie that I've never seen, an old French movie. But anyway, a great game. Also starts with B. Just sort of for the record, games that start with the, I just ignored that. So the Bloody Inn is starting with B.
Yeah, you can go to BGG and then you see they always put the
articles I've just ignored in the naming. So Bloody Inn is a B game.
Yeah. So there are a lot of Bs. Yes, honey. Anyway.
Oh dear.
Oh.
You've been up a long time, haven't you?
Oh yes. It's a quarantine thing going on. Anyway, but what's cool about this list of games, B games, is that first of all, let me talk about Blood In for a moment. Blood In is it just didn't click with me, but the theme is really cool, different, dark humor, and I'm definitely sure that many of those folks who are listening or watching this podcast might gonna like it. So it's a fun card game, but not just for anyone. It's not for me. But my B games, my 3 B games, so not in any particular order as well. But first one is Blood Rage. We talked about that already. Yeah, it's the thing about Blood Rage is that it has. When I looked at it, it had those gorgeous minis, and I was like, it's like a kind of like a miniature game or a game full of miniatures for the sake of miniatures, and it kind of is. Miniatures are great, big, sprawling, whatever. I like them, but it's mechanically strong game. You can argue that it's also a great hybrid. It has a lot of Euro elements in it. Also, the progression, the kind of a tableau building, but in a unique way that you have those different different parts of your tableau. Here you need to upgrade your leader. Here you need to put those monsters and so on. So that's cool. My second B game. Yeah, I'm not going to show them here because I already showed them, is Burgle Brothers as well. And I really like, 2 games in a row. You said Blood Rage, you said Burgle Brothers. I had them in the same order here, written here. So Burgle Brothers,
kind of funny.
it's really cool puzzle, I would say. It's an amazingly well done kind of a three-dimensional puzzle, because you're going up the rooms, so I like it very much as well. But my third B game is not Blood In. Surprise. It's something else.
I would have been really surprised.
Yeah. And that's a game I played twice during the Dice Tower Cruise. The first time I played with the couple who were also learning the game, so they taught us the game. And the second time, I was like, oh, I played it like a day ago. I could teach it, yeah. And that Barrage, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I like that game too.
Yeah, it's. I didn't have many B games that would be like very high rating, So I chose Barrage here because it's kind of a fresh experience, maybe. But Barrage, you're building those dams, and then you're trying to pour the water. Like the water flows down, and it flows into your dams, and you're trying to use the water in order to power up your power plants that you also build through those conducts, through those different lines and things, and you get points for that. It's it's kind of a usual worker placement where the worker spots on the side and the map in the center. I really like it mechanically. It can be frustrating, and it's it's not an easy experience. And the wheel, this is really cool idea, but physically this component is very cheap and just lame. But I saw the wooden. There was the braids.
I showed you those, didn't I?
Maybe.
I have those. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you have those.
I have wooden wheels. They're much nicer.
Oh yeah. And I saw them later, and I was like, I should order them maybe, but I don't have the game yet, so why should I order them anyway?
Yeah, you should wait till you have the game.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's very strong game and thematically strong as well for a Euro game, so like it. Anyway, let's go to the seas, not to the oceans. What?
No. C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
C is for cooking. Yes. All right.
Cookie. Yes. Mm-hmm. Cookie starts with C.
And cooking as well.
No.
I think
you might be missing the reference, but that's okay. All right. So my number 3 C game is a double C. It's C squared, and that is Clans of Caledonia. One of your favorite games that you've never played, but this is a fine game set in Scotland, sort of. Not super thematic, but you're building up your clan. You're kind of spreading out over the territory. It's got one of my favorite mechanisms, and we talked about our favorite game mechanisms. I remember is where you uncover stuff to get bonuses, and you've got that here because as you uncover your different income things, then you get different amounts of income each turn, and then you're upgrading the goods. You can turn the milk into cheese. You can turn the grain into whiskey or into bread, and really you're just trying to to spread out your turn, to get as many actions as possible, to complete contracts. And it's a good game once you really know how it works. It's just a lot of fun. I really like this game. I talk about it a lot, and I don't expect it'll be on your list, so we won't have another almost full crossover. But that's my number 3.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly that I do like this mechanism of uncovering stuff as you go and kind of building up your engine through having more stuff that you like. You put out something and then you have like a new is it the income kind of a thing going on there?
Kind of.
Like in Barrage as well. As you build more buildings, you have better income. So here as well, I do like that mechanic. I haven't played this game, but yeah, some resource conversion added to that and so on. I'm not so keen on that. So anyway,
it's a lot of fun. The only problem with that game is that it barely fits in its box. But that's all right. Anyway, my number 2 is a game that you haven't played as well, so I suspect it won't be on your list, but you can already tell what it is. I mentioned it a moment ago when we talked about Blood Rage, and that is Chaos in the Old World. And I almost put Cthulhu Wars there because those two games, more than any 2 other games I own, feel very similar. But this is Chaos is the one I like better of the 2. And you're a faction of various evil gods in a fantasy world that are battling for domination, and each one sort of has its own victory conditions, its own way that it's going to win, which is another thing I really like. And it's got a nice dark theme to it, and you're manipulating a bunch of different things. There's some combat with the exploding dice, and it's an older game. It's not so easy to find anymore, but it's a great one, and it starts with C, Chaos in the Old World.
Yes, I haven't played this one, and I don't think this dark theme would fit my play group. That's just
it is not for everyone.
Yeah, like stretched out human skin there. Okay. Anyway,
and my number 1 C game is one that might be on your list, but definitely is on mine, and that is Clank, with an exclamation point at the end. I like Clank. I like Clank in Space. I like Clank Legacy. I'm going to keep it with plain, simple, regular old Clank because that's the one that I'm most likely to pull out and play. But I like all 3. Great deck building game with some dungeon exploration, a lot of good humor thrown in, but not in your face. And it's a game that works in a lot of different circumstances with me. And it starts with C, so there you go.
Yeah, and ends with exclamation.
It does.
Point. All right, so yeah, Clank a good game. And let me say it right away, yes, Clank is on my list as well. My first of my C games, C for Cookie, is Clank. I did play original Clank. I do have Clank Legacy right now. Once I'm finished with Clank Legacy, it's going to be a playable board, so it's going to be like Clank. So who cares? Clank is Clank. Legacy just has this kind of campaign modes, and then eventually you just have Clank. And yeah, it's definitely a great deck building game with really cool combos, cards, and movement on the boards. That's really cool. That's what adds to this kind of a already not so, or kind of boring mechanic, if you would say. I'm a little bit tired of that. There are only very few Clank and one other game that I do enjoy as deck building games. Everything else kind of feels like I don't want to play that anymore. So
you have to try it. It's not out yet, but you have to try Ignite. Ignite is one of the best deck building games that there is.
Okay, yeah. I'm up for like
Dice Tower West. I have it through Kickstarter. It's not out yet, but when it comes out, you'll like it.
Okay, that's fine. Let me see what happens. Okay, so my second game, of course, is Chronicles of Crime.
It's also double C.
It is. It's COS, COC, SOS. Okay. Anyway, let it be. So anyway, this is fully a kind of a like crime-solving game, deduction game with this cool app that has the 3D environment in it, and you look for that for the clues and so on, and you're scanning everything through your phone. So you play with your phone, but what's cool, you're using your phone to the fullest. It's not like you have the app, which is on the side of the board game, and sometimes you check the app, sometimes the board game, and it kind of it can become a disconnection between the board game world and the technology world. There are a few of those games, but in here, your mobile phone, your cell phone is your game, kinda. So it's essential part here. So, and I really do like the stories in here. I really like the puzzles, and it's very thematic. It has a lot of logic in it, so I do like it a lot. So Chronicles Crime, and it has quite a few expansions, by the way. And my third game, of course, I'm a champion of that game. That's Cyclades. And Cyclades is an amazing Greek mythology game where you are fighting for those different islands, and you're trying to build the metropolises. You get 2 metropolises, you win the game. You build on those different gods. They give you different abilities. Sometimes you can only build ships. Sometimes you can only move your troops. Sometimes you can kind of do nothing, or like sometimes you use the really cool monster powers. Sometimes they are miniatures. Sometimes they are one-off powers. And the money is really cool because it's resource. Money is everything in this game. So you're trying to get a lot of income throughout the game, and it's always kind of like a back and forth, always on the edge, where if somebody has one metropolis, you are trying to kind of play more against them. But if you get the metropolis yourself, the third person tries to play against you too, and like it becomes kind of a knife fight in a booth once everybody has at least one metropolis. So that's really cool. It escalates. So Cyclades, my third game of the C. It's CCC.
Third of the C. All right. Well, should we go on to D next, or should we skip
What's
ahead?
the candy of the sea, or whatever, the candy of the ocean?
Yes, the Candies of the Sea.
Candies
that would
of
be a
the
game
sea.
about shrimp.
Shrimp, yeah. We'll get to S eventually, yeah.
S was a hard one. There were so many games with S. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. D.
All right. So if we're gonna look at D, the first game, my number 3 D game is Dead of Winter. Old.
Okay.
I say old. It's not that old, but it's a game that really kind of when it came out, it really came out big, and everybody was playing it for a while. And it's an interesting game with the cooperative theme, with the possibility of a traitor and a lot of nervousness and uncertainty with some zombies running around and a fun die that you get to roll and has a tooth on it, and if you get that side, you die. It's a lot of things there.
Yeah.
I don't play it that often anymore, because there's a lot of investment you have to do in teaching it to people. But it's a great game, and it was a good way to introduce those Crossroads cards, and it was a big hit for Plaid Hat when it came out, and it's one, hey, it starts with D, and it's one that I don't talk about as much anymore, but I still do really like. Dead of Winter.
Let's do it like that. If we have a crossover, I'm going to interrupt. So because we're going to save the time then. So I also have Dead of Winter on my list. I'm going to talk about the other two if you want to talk about them. But one thing about Dead of Winter, 2 things. I do really like the deck exploration, like searching for the items. I don't know, it's so satisfying. You always want to search for the items. Yeah. And the second part, I think Dead of Winter kind of expanded on the mechanic of secret objectives, where it's extremely, like everybody looks like a traitor here. Mm-hmm. Like in I don't know, I haven't played Battlestar Galactica, but I played Shadows of Camelot, and where you have hidden traitor as well, one of the first games there, and it doesn't have that kind of if you're a good guy, you don't have you're working for the good, but here you're working for yourself because you need to have your personal objective done, which makes you already kind of like a traitor. So everybody's a traitor. This is the game that kind of added this trend to board game world. Sorry.
Well, I agree. I mean, I like that game a lot, so that's why it's on my list. All right. My number 2 D game is one that I don't think you'll have, and that is Dice Throne. Dice Throne is a quick little Yahtzee style almost game. You've got 2 characters and you fight rolling dice and trying to get certain combinations, and you have a deck of cards that you're using to upgrade your actions to make them better, or to improve your luck at different times, or have other special effects. There are currently two sets out: the season 1, season 2. Hopefully, a season 3 is coming eventually. I keep thinking that it will, but it still hasn't been announced. But they're doing some adventure version, so there's always more content coming. But even as it is, there's a lot, several different fighters you can take head to head. It's kind of almost like a King of Tokyo style or Yahtzee style, like I said, but everything's very different. All the characters feel different. Some aren't. Some are a lot more fun than others, in my opinion. But there's different play styles. I love Dice Throne. It's great for 2. The box lies and says that you can play it with 3 or 4, but it's really a 2-player. But there you are, Dice Throne.
Yeah, haven't played this one. Really want to try. I'm sure I'm going to do that at some point. All right.
Yeah.
Your other game?
Well, and my number 1D game is Dinosaur Island. A game where you've got some nice, bright, garish colors.
That I haven't tried, and I should, I think so.
You really should. It's a good game. It's definitely a table hog.
It is.
It's a game that I like to play whenever I can, though. And I like it with its expansion that adds you a special worker that's only for you, and different things you can do. But really, even just in the base game, what you're doing is building a bunch of dinosaurs as quickly as you deem safe, and then you can also, you're balancing getting a lot of excitement about your park with having enough security so that people don't die, because having a lot of excitement brings you a lot of money. But if the dinosaurs break out and kill everybody, then you won't be getting any points. So you've got a nice balancing act there, and it's just a great game. It went for a certain look, but it was intentional, and I kind of think it works. But it's a game that I'm always looking forward to. That starts with the Dinosaur Island.
Yeah. When I look at this, I don't like the look, but I think if I start playing that one, I will warm up to that, to the look. I think it's gonna make sense once I've played this one. And but it's stylish. I mean, it's different from all the other board games that have gorgeous artwork, but it's basically all the same, But this one is very different, stand out as a graphical piece, as a art piece. So, all right.
Well, in a world of sort of dry worker placement-y type game, I mean, it's not a worker placement game. Well, there are parts that are. In a world of sort of dry Euro-y type games, this one definitely stands out in terms of its theme, and it really comes across very well.
Yeah, true. All right. So, Dead of Winter, I already told you, one of my D games, and then I have Dice Stars, and Dice Stars is my favorite roll and write game, and it's not so highly rated game here, but I think it works for me because maybe it works. It's not maybe, but I mean it works for all those different players that I played with, gamers, non-gamers. They all like it so much that I feel that I have accomplished something with this game. And I do like this game a lot because it's extremely simple. It's so simple to teach that. And just filling rows or columns, it's so clever. Not Ganshin clever. That's so clever, It's so clever, I said. No, it's Dice Stars.
I heard you.
Yeah. But I like the idea of collecting those stars and pushing luck to collect stars on better points. But if you don't have enough stars, if you don't have the whole stars row filled, then you get 0 points instead of your usual score. If you get it filled, you get double score. It's a push your luck element that adds a little bit to the game. I have the mini expansion of the planets. If you fill the column, you get a small kind of a planet token, and it's like a small special ability or extra points or whatever, You can, for example, instead of rolling one die, you can choose any side of that die, which is very small, but in this game, it's a very big advantage, So I just enjoy it quite much.
Right.
So, yeah. And my other D game is, and I haven't played. I've played only the older edition, not the newer edition. This is D-Day Dice, but D-Day Dice, I feel like when I played this long time ago, I didn't appreciate it, but once I kind of went back to think about this game, and I didn't have that many. By the way, I didn't have that many D games to choose from. I don't know why, but D games is not my thing. But basically, it's a cooperative game where your dice are your people, your soldiers, and you are going up the front. You're trying to kind of achieve those different objectives on those different places. Kind of not match the icons, but yeah, also like a progression.
Right. Because you only stay in each place for 3 turns at most, and they get harder the areas the farther on you go. So you want to get the resources early so they can last. Yeah, it's a good game. I haven't played it in a while, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's just I just like it quite much. I realized, and I do have the second edition now, which should be an improvement from the first edition. Do have some expansions for that as well, so I really want to play that at some point. So
it might be too many expansions.
Oh, there are. I mean, yes. But I mean, like there was some. I didn't get all the expansions, but I got the. I think I got the basic version, but it came with some expansions like Atlantic Wall and some other expansion, some small cards, extra cards, or whatever.
Wall. But Atlantic Wall is really different, right? Because that's playing the other side.
The Nazis. Yeah. It's adds the other
either way,
side.
It's good. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I like D-Day Dice. It's been a while though.
We should play it at some point. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Let's go to E. E for Eevee.
Eevee starts with a Y.
No, it's Eevee's the Pokemon.
I was referring to the drag queen.
Okay.
Anyway.
not the Ivy Winters. No, not
the... No. Anyway, let's talk about E. So the E is the first one I have for E is kind of an odd one. And it's one that I got and was really excited about. And then I put it away because it was so big. And I've just recently gotten it out again because an expansion arrived. And that is The Edge, Dawnfall.
Okay.
This is by the same guy who did, what's it called? Neuroshima Hex. Or Neuroshima Hex, I guess.
Michael Orrick. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a game where you've got 6 different factions. And they're all very different. And you're kind of fighting it out. And it's a big game, and it's kind of a messy game, and it's kind of a dark game, and it's kind of complicated, but it really is very compelling in terms, it's that sort of head-to-head style game with all the asymmetric player powers that just really speaks to me. And I even played through the solo campaign at least once. The solo campaign was just okay. It had a little bit of rules wishy-washiness that I didn't love, so hopefully that's been fixed. But it's a fun game of just this nice head-to-head battle with different units, different abilities, lots of different things, managing your resources as well. It's really a good, although very large game. I won't call it a little game at all. That's The Edge, Dawnfall.
It looks totally. It sounds totally like Neuroshima Hex, but a big sprawling miniature-filled Neuroshima Hex.
It kind of almost is, except that you're not pulling things out of a bag.
Yeah, but this one is like when you describe this one, it just sounded totally like Neuroshima Hex, but on a bigger scale.
If we called it Neuroshima Hex Tactics, we might have it there.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. All right.
Anyway, I'm assuming that's not on your list.
No.
Next up is an older game that's recently been reprinted, and the reprint looks exactly the same as the old version. And that is Eclipse, a game of space exploration. One of those games that has that uncover stuff for resources and income and things, mechanisms that I like. You're in space, you're spreading out, you've got a bunch of different races that each sort of function slightly differently. You're building your ships and customizing them so you can have ships that are really big, tanky ships if you want, or you can have little tiny ones that just have a bunch of cannons on them. You're exploring. You're conquering new planets. You're also managing not your empire and trying not to spread out too far because then you won't have enough resources because you've got to maintain it. It's just a great game. It's a game that lies and says it can go up to 9 with the expansion. That's not really true, but it's a great game for 3. It also devours tables. I haven't played it in a while, but I'm really looking forward to it again.
So you say it didn't improve any art? It didn't improve...
Oh, no. It looks exactly the same.
graphically, why do they do such mistakes?
I didn't compare. I haven't played the new one yet. I didn't compare it with the old one, but it really looks very much the same. All of the sort of graphic design is very similar.
Okay.
The difference is that the ships are different now. Each of the different colors has custom ships.
Oh, so basically, let's make some cool miniatures instead of improving.
And the rule book, sort of, when I read through it for the new one, sounded exactly like the old one. Again, I haven't played the new one yet to compare it, but I like the old one. So it's on here on the strength of the old one.
All right. So your third one?
Number one, my number one game is a game that I played with you the first time incorrectly at Gen Con, and that is Everdell. Everdell is one of my favorite solo games these days, but it's also great when it's not solo. You've got you're building your tableau of 15 cards. That's as many as you can have. Triggering powers, trying to get different colors of cards out in different orders so you can get bonus points, making combinations and trying to build one thing so that it unlocks something else for free. And you're managing a hand of cards, which is very static. It can't go above a certain number. It's an interesting little worker placement. I mean, it's got some worker placement aspects of it. You've got it there with the expansion. It's got an enormous, annoying, obnoxious tree that you don't need to play with. The expansions are pretty good, especially it looks like you've got both expansions in there in that picture. You're not supposed to play with both. At least that's what the rules say. Anyway, I like Everdell a lot. It looks good too, and I've always had a lot of fun with it, even when I played it wrong.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I play this one too. I like this one. You know what they say about what people say when they don't like Everdell? They say Neverdell.
Oh.
So yeah, that's not a good joke. Anyway,
No,
let's move on. That was a play on words.
Quickly.
Come on. Quickly, let's run. Okay, so my three games. And first of all, an amazingly great game, Empire's Age of Discovery.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know I know it would be like Age of Empires was the initial name, but I feel like they improved the. I mean, like I take this. Yeah, I take this edition as the essential edition basically. So Age of Empires was the initial name, but they had to change it. I go for like Empires now. It's just the name.
As long as you didn't put it on your list twice, it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Empire's Age of Discovery, amazing game of building yourself up, but you're constantly hiring new workers, but you're spending workers, and they're kind of a one-off things. You know, it's like you put the worker there, he's gone, but you get new workers during the new round, and you get some extras if you took them, and it's a worker placement and area control. It's a great hybrid. It's a big game. It's like it has a big table presence, but it's not extremely huge game. But it's still quite epic on its own scale. So
I agree. I like
my second game is Empires of the Void, the second edition. And
one that I still haven't played.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
So I really need to play it again, but this game
I played the first edition.
Yeah, I haven't played this one. But anyway, the game, this game is a Ryan Lockhart's 4X response, or response to 4X. It has few story elements. You have those different planets. Those different planets, you can go with kind of a like like warfare or diplomacy kind of thing is going on there. But the cool part is that you're constantly uncovering things, making yourself better.
Hey,
but
that sounds like something I'd like.
But on the other hand, you're making some other things. You're kind of making things more expensive, but on the other side, better. And you're getting those things out on the board as well, which is really cool. And you can hire some neutral, like NPCs, to fight on your side and so on, which is really cool. I like that as well. So you can kind of boost your army. But it's a lot about exploration, and there's fighting going on. The fighting is not extremely like huge here. and I do really like just the look of this game. And the main mechanic is that it's like I choose the action. I get it with the bonus. Everybody else can follow me. So action with the following actions. So that's really cool. So sometimes you really wanna somebody to choose that other action because you don't want to spend your turn to choose that action. You want to do something else instead. So that's really cool part of that. So a little bit of kind of a push your luck. Anyway, and my third is not a game. It's a family of games, because otherwise I would put them under different alphabets, different places, but escape room games. So I put them under like one name, escape room games. I'm talking about, for example, what I have here, Escape Tales, for example, Exit. Unlock is with you, but I mean, I do like all of them for different reasons. For Unlock, I do like the story elements and app implementation. Exit has cool puzzles, and Escape Tales has a lot of story. They all are great in their own sense. But yeah, that's my third E. Okay. They're all escape room games in a box. Yeah.
All right. F. Well, let's move on to F.
Yeah. F. We should speed up, I think.
We have a potential crossover. Yeah.
Wait, there's a...
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Yeah. First Class, and that's a good game. It's a hard one to describe, honestly. You're selecting cards from a row, playing them, building a train. You can build a track that gives you bonuses at the end of the round, or you can build this sort of train that gives you points as you kind of dance along it. So that's First Class.
Yeah, agree. Great game, and it's on my list as well, by the way.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah, a crossover.
My second F game is a game that's known for just its gorgeous artwork, and it's just a gorgeous game to look at, and that's Food Chain Magnate. It's a very heavy, very dry, very prototype-looking game.
Yeah.
What?
Let me show you that.
Food Chain Magnate.
Let me show you that amazing. It's the best looking prototype. Oh, it's not even the best looking prototype of a game. It's even like
it really does have some
issues.
Some interesting choices were made, but that's okay. I really like Food Chain Magnate. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. It's definitely not to be played with large groups. It's definitely not to be played with more than one new player, because that one new player, if new players are going to lose, it's unforgiving. But it's a great game. I love Food Chain Magnate. So,
skip next.
I assume that's not on your list. My number one is the newest game on this entire list, and that is a game that I played a lot of this last month, and that is Forgotten Waters. Newest game from Plaid Hat Games, newest Crossroads game, a fantastic pirate story experience. It's a lot more story than it is game, but there's some game there too. But currently there's 5 stories you can play through, and talking to my brother who's also been playing it, each time you play them, you're going to have a different experience. I mean, we went through, I mean, the story's kind of on, there's some parts that are on rails, but the events that happen and the experience that you end up having is going to be different each time. Because, we talked about some things we had on the same adventure, and we had wildly different experiences. Both good experiences, I'll say that. Lots of good humor in the game, lots of sort of interesting references, internal references. It's a fabulous time. And once it becomes widely available, I highly recommend it. My number one F game, Forgotten Waters.
Yeah, really want to try this one. All right, so yeah, first game, First Class, which you already mentioned, for the same reasons. Great level building game. And then we have, my second game is The Flow of History. So The Flow of History is it's my choice for a quicker civilization game. it has a kind of a feel because you are having those different like classic civilizations and classic technologies, culture things, and so on, and wonders and such. So it's a bidding game where it has really cool mechanic of token pools and so on. It's kind of a problem is that you're constantly looking at the icons, but you can get used to that, and then it doesn't bother you. I showed you the older version, but there's the newer version as well. But anyway, you just
I have the
look
newer
at
version. So
yeah, the newer version looks better here. So really cool art.
it
But
has
anyway,
really fun coins. I love the coins in that game.
oh yes, yes, yes. These are for bidding, so
In
like
the new
tokens
one.
instead of tokens. Yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, it's a great civilization card game. My definitive civilization card game. And
Amazing artwork.
no, it's a cool one. Yeah, it's. I like the style. I like the style. It's classic,
Okay.
Anyway, my third game is Five Tribes. Five Tribes is
Oh yeah, that's a good
I
one.
wouldn't I didn't know if I would like it. When I look at that one, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. It looks like grids, movement, blah blah. But it's really cool mechanic, and you are constantly looking for a spot where you want to land, and then you're trying to go backwards from that spot so you can spot meeples that you can grab to go to that spot and get the right meeples, get the right action on that tile, get things built on that tile, get the genies that give you extra powers. Really cool game about kind of a finding best places, combos, things. So like Five Tribes very much.
Yep. Fantastic game.
All right,
All
let's
right.
go
We did
to
F pretty
G.
quickly.
G for garage, Gaslands, let's say.
Okay.
It shows Gaslands
Well,
here. So.
G is a game that I suspect we won't have any crossovers on.
No, no.
My number 3 G game is another gloriously illustrated game. That is Glory to Rome.
Okay.
Game that's famously out of print, a game with multi-use cards, which is another mechanism I really like. It's a fun little game. It works well with a small group, especially, and it's one that sort of has a reputation. Now you're not even looking at the original cards there. I think that's the Polish edition you've got.
Oh,
But
it's really hard to
that's
find
okay.
the right ones. I
It's
don't know.
fine. Don't worry about it. People have seen it the last time we talked about it. Anyway, I really like Glory to Rome. Starts with a G. There you go. And I recently watched and I'm now reading I, Claudius, so it makes me want to play all the old Roman games again. But anyway, I think you've not played it, so I'm going to move on to
I played it.
number
Yeah.
2, which is...
I played a long time ago.
Oh, you have? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I played it a
All
long
right.
time ago, and I did like it. But I played a very long time ago, and I was a little bit confused by, it was a little bit maybe like too much for the first play. I mean, like to understand the whole situation going on there. So I don't have any opinion really, but it was cool. It was cool.
Okay. All right. My number 2 G game is Gloomhaven, a game that is huge, a game that is one of those games that I don't play very often because it just is so much work to set up and get back into. But much like another game we'll talk about later, when I set it up, I will play it for a week or two and just not put it. I'll leave it out and just play through a story or two and have the great little campaign. It's an adventure game. You're playing through various scenarios. You're upgrading your characters and you're managing a hand of cards that's slowly subject to atrophy over time. But it's a game that's very popular, and little brother Frosthaven is top down these days too. So here
there might be some problems with it.
There we are. That's Haven. Well,
are
you ready for number 1?
Yes, I think so. No, basically Gloomhaven. That's what I need to know. Gloomhaven is number 1 game over here. So
1 G. Yeah. So my number 1 game for G is a game that I know you've never played, even though you really should. and that is Great Western Trail. Out deck building and cowboys, and moving around a board trying to deliver cows to Kansas City and beyond. So it's a popular game. It's one of my favorite games by this particular designer. It's a little bit on the dry side, but it's really good, and it's a game that you really can get better at as you play and learn how to really work the strategies that are available. I really like it. I like it with this expansion or without. Great Western Trail.
Okay, yeah, I haven't played this one. Don't have any opinion. Yeah. All right, let's go to my G's. So my first two G's both start with the Grim. First one is the Grim Forest, and the Grim Forest is it's kind of a simultaneous action selection game where you want to go to a certain spot so you can grab the resources from there. If you both go there, you have to split those resources. If you go there alone, you get all the resources by yourself, and you want to build those different houses made of clay, of wood, and hay, and so on. So, and the cool part about that is it's extremely simple game, but the cool part about that is that you have those, I remember, fable cards, whatever they are. The friend cards. The friend cards are really cool abilities that you have for yourself, and there are some other cards which will bring up those monsters or anti-heroes from the Grimm brothers universe, and you're trying to mess with others and make the locations harder to grab resources from or whatever else, and trying to boost yourself. And sometimes when you get a new friend card, you have to either take it for yourself, but you have to then discard your previous friend, whatever the cool ability you have, or give that new card to another person, which is a really cool choice because you grab a card, you already have a great action in front of you, but you have another action here, a great action in your hand. Now you have a choice: discard your own action and take that new card, or give it to other person, so they will have a cool action. So, I like that idea here. So my other Grim game is Grim Masquerade. Grim Masquerade is a new hit on my table. We played Grim Masquerade quite a few times. Everybody likes it so far. It's a really easy game. It's a really easy game. So you just pull those artifacts from the deck, and then you either have it for yourself or give it to another person. And when you grab the second card, you have to do vice versa. Basically, if the first card you choose for yourself, the second card you have to give to somebody else. And this is a deduction game where you're trying to guess who everybody is. Every character has some boon and bane artifacts, whatever, like good and bad artifacts. So you want to collect 3 of your good artifacts. Like you can want to collect 3 mirrors, for example, but you hate glass slippers. So you don't want to collect glass slippers. And if you get glass slippers, you are found. So you will not win the round anymore. But you can still uncover others. So you want to get the roses. Whoever gets to 10 roses wins the game. So it also has the cool actions that vary from each round. And those actions give you a little bit of extra information, or you can point the finger and try to guess who everybody is. Very fast, very engaging game that has some extra modules. I haven't played with the modules yet. We played the very simple version of that game, but those modules have the bidding, who will win the round, you have special ability for each character, and so on. So you can boost the game to make it harder, but even cooler. So, Grim Masquerade.
Yep.
And my third game...
You taught it to me, so I like that one.
Oh, yeah, we played that one, yeah. And the more I play, the more I like it. I know everybody just enjoys this one, because maybe it's very fast-paced and very simple to learn. Just draw 2 cards. And my third game is Gold West. What? Sorry.
No, I nothing. I didn't say anything.
Okay. So Gold West is it's a classic Euro game. It's not so classic. I mean, it didn't come out in 2001 or something like that. It's not Catan, but it came out, I think, 2015. But it feels like extremely classic game. you're expanding on a board, getting more resources, and you also have this kind of a Mancala mechanic with your resources, and you're trying to build those houses to make kind of a connections or kind of a swarms of those houses on the board, so you can score more points, and so on. So very simple. You're trying to score points in all those different ways, and moving those wagons or whatever, the trucks or whatever. So, and sometimes you cover some of the abilities, kind of gaining them. Yeah, just very streamlined, classic, elegant Euro game. Cold West. Let's go to H. I think we froze. Or Kyle, do you hear me? This kind of some like a problem with the connection.
I don't know what's
going on. Yeah, might be some connection problems that we
threw me out and then back in.
Yeah, I did that.
I don't know what's going on.
No, I did it right now because you like went offline, so I restarted you kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, are we ready to move on to the next letter?
Yeah, H. Yeah, I'm sorry about some connection problems that are out of our hands. So anyway.
All right. I don't know if you can hear me. All right. I think. Are we ready for my number 3H game?
We'll try, but you're constantly going offline.
You're kind of coming across as garbled too. I'm not touching anything. I'm far enough away that it can't be. I don't know. Anyway, my number 3H game is Heaven and Ale, a game that's kind of a pun in its name, but isn't a very funny game. It's a game about working in a monastery and trying to brew beer and move your various component tokens up a track, and rush some of them to the end to get bonuses, but you're only going to score based upon the farther back ones. So it's a kind of a heavier game, but it's one that I like to play several times in a row. The theme doesn't really come through, but the game itself is pretty good.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
My number 2H game is a fairly new one. That was the cooperative game that came out around Gen Con last year. That's Horrified, a game where you're running through and fighting various universal classic monsters. It's a light cooperative game that works really well and has some nice variability in the way the different monsters work.
Okay.
And my number 1H game is Hadara, a game that kind of almost looks like a Seven Wonders game, but you're playing cards and getting different discounts in different colors and building up for different bonuses. It doesn't look like it's going to be all that much fun, but it really is. It plays really quickly, and it has some interesting drafting mechanisms that are going on in there. It's one that I really was surprised with how much I enjoyed. Hadara.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, and it seems like the internet came back, so at least I can hear you clearly. I turned on the screen share of the Board Game Geek page. Maybe it will help, not
maybe
overflow of traffic.
Who knows?
I'm sorry to the viewers about this one. It's just some internet problems. Anyway. All right, so I haven't played any of your games, and I really want to try Hadara at some point. I think I want to try Hadara. So that's the one I tried the most. Anyway, my H games, HHH, are first of all Homesteaders. Homesteaders is, I talk about it a lot. I mean, with the expansion, of course, it's I don't know if it has any new version things. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? It looks the same across the different versions. So Homesteaders is an engine building game where you are getting more resources and then grabbing extra buildings. They give you some worker spots and give you extra income and other things, and you're getting those buildings through the auction. Very simple but cool auction, and yeah, you're trying to maximize your resource and money income, getting more workers, getting more buildings, and eventually trying to get more points, because buildings give you points. Some buildings will give you points as income and so on. So you're trying to kind of maximize your engine to the best. It's not extremely good looking game, but it plays very smoothly. It's a very nice experience, especially with the expansion, the new beginning, which adds a little bit of variety extra with the events. And events really do add to the game. All right. Happy Pigs is my number 2. Happy Pigs is it's an economic game, but in a very simple fashion. It's also a game about simultaneous action selection, where if more people choose that one thing, you have to split. If one player chooses, he can do all of that alone, and that adds a lot of to that decision of what actions you choose. Sometimes you won't choose what you really want because you don't want to give that other action wholly to another player. But you are trying to get those pigs and grow them and then sell them and get the most money. So very cute, simple, really cool game, economic game. And my third is what? Yeah,
I said great.
Great. Great with G. My third game is Histrio.
Great.
Great. Histrio is. It seems like I do like the simultaneous action selection, and I really do like that mechanic, because I do like this uncertainty of what will others choose, and we all reveal at the same time. I like that kind of a revelation and reveal all the different actions, and then like, oh, I really thought you're gonna do that, but you did that instead. You know, that moment. I really like that in games. And then this one, you are also choosing the different spots you want to go to. And if you go there alone, you get the cards. If more than one player goes there, you don't get anything, but you get kind of a consolation prize or something like that, you know. And you're trying to change the king's mood from happy to sad or whatever. It depends how you score those things. So Histrio, very good looking game, and I like the mechanic here. So my 3 H games. Let's go to I.
All right. All right. My number 3 I game is a game that I am the only person who talks about, and that is In the Shadow of the Emperor. It's one of those games I'm going to force somebody to play with me again someday. It's an interesting game where you're trying to vie for control and being able to be elected or control the election of the Holy Roman Emperor. You're aging your various people and doing things to kind of cause people to age and die out. You're trying to bid for a son versus a daughter, and it's an interesting game. You know, the theme is a little weird, and the artwork is not the best, but it's a game that just doesn't feel like any other one. And I wish it got a little bit more love, but hey, I still love it. In the Shadow of the Emperor.
Is it the game that aged and died out?
Yeah, well, it's a game that some people, I think, have caused to do. It's one that I think you ought to try sometime when you're here. I think I'm probably the only person with a copy anymore.
Okay, I see. For the sake of experiment,
anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The next I is a newer game, and that is I Love Cats. And a game that I tried for the first time on the cruise and played a lot of times on the cruise and immediately thereafter. It's an interesting little drafting game with some sort of tile placement, these fun shapes of cats that you're trying to fill your ship and cover all the open spots in, while also drafting the bonuses that you want. It works really well. It looks great. It's worked with pretty much everybody I played it with. I really like Isle of Cats.
I adore cats, and it looks gorgeous. The only problem I have, why I haven't played this one, I tried this one, is that it has a like polyominoes mechanic in it, and I just don't really dig that. It's not my type of game usually. So anyway, but maybe I'll try it at some point.
You don't love cats, but that's all right.
What?
And my number
no,
one
not that
is
one.
the
No,
I
no,
that I
no, no,
always
no.
talk
Nobody
about.
loves cats here. I mean, like that. That's let's just move on. It's too controversial. Okay.
My number one game from I is Imperial Settlers. And of course, there's the other two games in the same family, which is Empires of the North and 51st State. Well, that could have been an F. But Imperial Settlers is still
number games? We
favorite of the
forgot
three.
number games. 0 to 10.
Well,
let's do it next time.
I don't know that we'll run out of time if we do that. Anyway, Imperial Settlers is a game that I talk about a lot. It's a game that I love a lot. It's a game that I've played a lot of times. I'm excited for the new expansion that's coming, which is a big box to hold everything. And it's a game that I can't see myself getting tired of. And I love the different factions and how different they play. So that's my number one I game, Imperial Settlers.
Imperial Settlers. All right, so I played Imperial Settlers. Nice game. I think I do. I don't know. Maybe it's the same. I thought about the Empires of the North and Imperial Settlers, but I think I like. No, I like them the same. Yeah. Anyway, my 3 I games. First, I for Insider, and Insider is my go-to party game. It's like 20 questions meets the werewolf, whatever. You have those different roles, and one of them is Insider. Nobody knows who everybody is, and there's only the master who is available, and then you're trying to guess the word, and the Insider tries to kind of show you the way without revealing that he or she is Insider. And once you guess the word, then you're gonna vote who is Insider or not. Very simple. You play it many times in a row, and just so engaging, so easy to teach, so easy to play. Insider. My second game is a weird-looking game, which is Imaginarium, and it's this game. Not only it looks weird because it's kind of a mechanical, kind of a dystopian, mechanical. Like there's a jaw in the center of the board or whatever.
Mouth with just like I said,
like a mouth, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like this kind of like engine building game, resource management game where you're trying to get those different resources convert. Like here, it has kind of like conversion. It looks weird, and it plays. It feels very different from quite a few of those games that are coming out each year right now. So I feel that this game deserves more love. Maybe like if you look at all those games that came out in 2018, those classic Euro games get a lot of love, but something that goes a little bit on a weirder side or goes the different route, a little bit different route, they say that no, it's not for me. I don't dig that. Because we're in that comfort zone of certain mechanics, certain games, and I think this one just needs another chance. So maybe they'll do that again. They failed the Kickstarter, sadly. So, but Imaginarium is a pretty good game. By the way, sorry. And all right, let's go to my third one. And my third one is Inuits, the Snowfolk. Oh yeah, it's a Snowfolk. Inuits, a gorgeous game, a card game where you're kind of building up your tableau of cards, and when you grab those people are gonna boost your actions on your player mat, and kind of boost your ability to grab cards. So and it's mostly set collection. You're grabbing those different orcas and polar bears and things. So you can score more points for collecting them, getting some special abilities. And the more people you have under the certain action, the more cards you can grab. It's a fast-paced game. The further you go into the game, the faster it becomes because you can grab more and more cards. And I like that. And it has some modules to make it even cooler. It's just a very nice experience.
Okay.
And that's my 3 games.
Well, there we go. We probably need to speed up a little bit, or we're going to be here for a while.
Oh, we have the whole night. Okay.
Well, that's true. Well, it's up to you. But anyway, my J. I think we're ready for J. J was a hard one. There aren't that many good games that start with J, at least that I found. But here we go. My number 3 J game is a dexterity game called Junk Art. A game where you're competing, doing different sort of mini game type challenges, stacking weird shapes on top of each other. Lots of different kind of sub rules, but it's just a fun little game to do, especially if somebody's clumsy like me. I really like Junk Art.
Okay.
Number 2 is a game that I discovered a couple of years ago, and it really was a big hit for me. A 2-player kind of trading game called Jaipur. You're bidding on trying to make sort of sets of these different goods so that you can get tokens that are worth different amounts of points.
And
you're
camels.
Taking cards, playing cards. There's camels, which you can take a lot of. Like that's sort of the advantage, and you can use them to substitute for other things. It's just a great 2-player game. One of the best that's out there. If you don't want one of my head-to-head battle games.
Yeah.
So it starts with J.
J was my weak point here in the alphabet, but Jaipur is on my list, and it's a good game. Crossover.
All right. And my third J game might also be a crossover. I don't know if you like this one, but that is the party darling of the past couple of years, Just One. A fine game. What?
I haven't played this one, but I really want to.
Oh. Yeah, I think that would work with that. It just works with everybody. It's just such a fun, light game that you're trying to give clues, but if 2 people give the same clue, then the person.
Wait. You sadly went away again. Do you hear me? There seems to be problems today with the internet. I don't know why.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah, it's just the connection.
Anyway, I'm done with my J.
Yeah. You said something about Just One, but it's a no. Yeah. Anyway, so I said.
Okay. Well, there you go. It's just one.
Sorry. Yeah. But we're gonna go for Jaipur, as I told you before. And my second one is Joking Hazard, and this is a weird game. It's a joke game. So, and you're just collecting those, you're kind of putting those cards in the order and trying to make a funnier situation, something like that. It's what it is. But I do like it for some reason. Jungle Law is my third game. I don't know if you can hear me, but can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Something happened. Yeah. But while you're doing that, I'm gonna talk about Jungle Law. Jungle Law is a dice game. You're going through this kind of a path of different people. You're trying to collect those people, where you land, and so on. So kind of a set collection. It's very simple dice game. And something happened with the mic, and we can't hear. We have a lot of problems to hear today. Hello?
Something's happened to the audio too. I can't, or to the video. I can't channel either.
Okay, but I can hear you now. All right.
Okay.
So let's go to K. And I'm sorry once again. I don't know what's the problems here. We're gonna figure it out later.
All right. Well, we'll go through K quickly. My number 3 for K is Kemet. Nice little Egyptian-themed fighting game. One that we'll just, I guess, let's go through quickly so that we don't run out of whatever good internet grace we have. My number 2K game is King of Tokyo. I just recently got the black edition, so I'm excited for that. That's, that is what it is. Fine little Yahtzee-style fighting game. And my number 1 is my favorite auction game. That is Keyflower, a game where you're using meeples to bid for different things, building up a city, upgrading your tiles, building tiles that you think other people are going to want to use so that you can then get the resources that they spend on them. Just a great little game. I've never played it with its expansions. I've only played the base game, and I played the base game a ton of times, and I really like it. So Keyflower, my number 1 K game.
All right, so my 3K games, 2 of them were mentioned by you, and that's King of Tokyo. Also, yeah, very accessible, great Yahtzee game. Then we have Kemet, really cool engine building game with really nice fighting mechanic going on. And the third one is Kings of Air and Steam. And it seems like I'm one of those champions of that game, I always talk about that game. But I mean, I do like that game, and I do understand that there were some problems with the special powers. But it's a pick up and deliver game that I do enjoy, and yeah, that's it. Stock markets, pick up and delivery with the airships that you program and that you upgrade sounds extremely cool, at least for me. Let's go to L.
Connection problem again. Oh no, there we are. There you are. Are we ready for L?
Yeah.
All right. L, my number 3 L is Lisboa. An ugly looking game, but one that I really like. You're building up Lisbon after an earthquake. Well, it's one of the heavier games that I own, and a very difficult teach, but it's just a really good game of making all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
My number 2L is a game that's on Kickstarter now for a reprint. That is Lords of Vegas, an excellent little gambling game where you're building up Las Vegas. It's got lots of push your luck aspects, dice placement. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's also got lots of paper money. But other than that, it's a great game, one that I kind of avoided for a while, but was really glad when I finally discovered it, Lords of Vegas.
Yeah.
And the last one is a game that I am always in the mood for, and I often like to put new people through, and that is Le Havre, a game where it's a very economic-y game where you're trying to manage your money, build buildings, and everything you do is going to give you points, which is your money at the end of the game. So you're buying things, selling things, collecting huge piles of resources, upgrading them, converting them, using them, having just a great time making things work and beating your own path through the game. I really like Le Havre.
Okay. Yeah. Good. My L's are, first of all, Living Planet. Living Planet is a spiritual successor to Archipelago. You are... Oh, something's happening. You're putting something in?
I'm here.
Okay. So we have planet exploration, building those different buildings that produce you resources. You're selling those resources in the stock market, trying to get the most money, which is the most points. I really like the manipulation of the dice here, which are the number of actions plus the cataclysm that happen on those tiles. So everything is going to get destroyed anyway because it's a hostile planet. So Living Planet. Then we have The Last Expedition. The Last Expedition is a cooperative game full of just going through the puzzle of putting the cards in the right order and executing them in the right way and going through this jungle path. and you're trying to survive, or at least one of your characters must survive, and you're doing that cooperatively. It's all about card play, and nice looking as well. And then we have Legacy of Dragonhold. Legacy of Dragonhold is a storytelling game, kind of a choose an adventure book game, where it's like kind of a Dungeons and Dragons RPG. You go into that map and you're going to different locations, you're getting the quests, and then you are going to those quests by getting those different books, and you're collecting items and just enjoying the story. Boom, that's it. Let's go to M.
M. All right. My number 3 M game is a frenetic real-time trading game called Millennium Blades. One that I don't get to play. I need to get that one back out again. But it's kind of this interesting meta game. But you're collecting cards, and then you play some sort of a mediocre card game with those cards, and then you go back sort of to this market phase where you're buying and selling frantically on a clock, real time. It's just a lot of fun. Millennium Blades. My number 2 M game is Mansions of Madness. It has 2 M's in it, as you heard. It's an exploration game. You've got a lot of story. You're going through sort of a Lovecraft adjacent mythos. No Cthulhu in the game, at least so far, but you're exploring things and you're playing through a story that's driven largely through an app. I have a lot of fun with Mansions of Madness.
Yeah.
And my number 1 M game is the game of the cruise this last year, the game I was always playing, Maracaibo. Maracaibo, where you're sailing around the Caribbean, gaining resources, building a tableau of cards, getting money, getting points, fulfilling goals, and also playing through a fairly mediocre story that I had fun with, even though it was just okay. But the game itself is a lot of fun. I really like Maracaibo. It's a close second in the Alexander Pfister series to Great Western Trail for me, but one I still really enjoy.
Yeah, all right. That's totally fine for you, at least. My M's, my M's are Mission Red Planet, second edition. But like you can just say, oh, something's happening again with the microphone. Are you?
Oh, nothing's happening. I'm here. I'm right here.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Right. So, Mission Red Planet, yes. Also, simultaneous action selection, role selection, basically, and then that role gives you the opportunity to put your Martians on those different ships, and the ships go to the Mars, and they colonize the Mars and get the resources, and you need to have the most people in those regions. Very simple, very engaging, simultaneous action selection game. It looks gorgeous as well. Then we have Manhattan Project Energy Empire. And Manhattan Project Energy Empire is, I like the original Manhattan Project, but the Energy Empire adds kind of a better use of the dice. Sorry, there's not, like, the dice is in this newer version, but it adds the better use of those workers, because you kind of have this energy as well, and you can boost your workers by giving them the energy, so you can go to the certain spots, because you need to have more worker power than anybody else on that spot, so you can use that action. It's just a really cool worker placement, tight resource management game with push your luck elements with the dice. And then we have Museum is my third one. Museum is a really nice, gorgeous looking set collection game where you are collecting different cards to put into your tableau of cards, and you're trying to kind of allocate those cards in your museum, so the way that the collections combine and you kind of score more points. It has quite a few expansions that probably add this spice that it needs, but gorgeous, great set collection game, Museum.
I was kind of underwhelmed by Museum, but I'm willing to give it another try.
Maybe the expansions will help. I'm certain that expansions will add a few extra elements to boost it. So,
sure. Anyway,
N.
that's a N. N is a. I don't know that N's the strongest letter of the alphabet for board games for me, but I found at least three. Uh, the first one is Nemo's War, a solo game that takes you through the marvelous world of Captain Nemo and the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It made me read the book, which was a mistake, but the game itself is a lot of fun. The book's just a catalog of fish. But the game itself is fun. You're playing through a nice story. It's very lucky, kind of. It can be seem a little unfair at times, but it's a lot of fun for a solo game. That's kind of what you're looking for anyway. Just a great little adventure. Nemo's War.
Yeah.
My number 2 solo game we've already talked about when we talked about The Edge, but this is the game that designer is even better known for, and that is Hiroshima X. A game that's almost abstract, but you're kind of placing pieces out. They have different special abilities. Eventually, something will happen that will trigger a fight, and then you play the process game as you slowly go through the board and make sure that everything happens in its proper sequence. It's a game that's kind of been supplanted by its app, but it's still a lot of fun, and I enjoy the physical version as well. And then the last N game I have, the number 1 N game, and the one that might be on your list, is Near and Far. A fine little story game. You're moving out and having adventures and building up, your own abilities and characters and making things better for yourself. And then you'll stop and have a story, and the stories can connect. And it's just a great little, big game with good artwork, and just doesn't quite feel like anything else. A game I really enjoy that starts with N, Near and Far.
True, I do have Near and Far on my list as well, and I do agree with all of that. It feels different. It's trying to look at it. Kind of he feels different in his designs. Cool part about Near and Far also is that the Amber Mines expansion really fixes kind of the worker spots for me, at least. It kind of adds some more meaning to few worker spots. So that's
That's
the
true.
magical spot.
I've never played with it though.
Amber Mines, the mines themselves, the last action that you take, that was kind of a lame action. You can just putting out the tents there. It's just not fun. But the mines add the exploration of the mines and a little bit that push your luck going on there. So that's a lot. That's a strategy on its own. So that's that. Then we have my second game. Ends are strong here for me, at least. And Nemesis is my second game, which is my all-time number 2 game as well. And Nemesis is Aliens in a Box. They just called it Nemesis for the purpose of not paying for the license, most likely. But yeah, Nemesis, I just like exploring the ship and fighting the aliens and getting all the items and, this despair. It's dark, but it's cool dark, it's sci-fi dark, which I do adore. So that's Nemesis. And then the third game is Nexus Ops. Nexus Ops is kind of it is like a fight, like a knife fight in a booth kind of feel to it, because it's the older version that I'm showing you. I don't know where's the newer version, but anyway, you just look at yourself. But this game is all about just going to that center tile and fighting each other while going there. It's very simple area control fighting game that's very engaging as well. So
yep, I like it. I have the even the new version isn't that new. It's actually, I'm not sure if it's even in print.
It's 2011 or 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, 5. Yeah. Oof. Oh wow. Okay, it's very old.
Yeah.
I really need to get that game back. Okay. Yeah. My 3 end games. Oh.
All right.
Oh, right.
All right. So my first O game, my number 3 O game is Oh My Goods. Another Alexander Pfister game. An interesting game where there's a little bit of push your luck, a little bit of those multi-use cards that I love.
I wrote, oh my God. There's a game, oh my God. There's a
I
game.
actually have that. I have
I
that
do?
game, and it's terrible.
Oh my god.
Terrible.
Oh
It
my
has a card
god.
in it that literally says, "If you play this card, I win."
Okay. Okay, let's skip
But
that. Yeah, sorry.
oh my
Yeah.
goods, oh my goods is an amazing game. It's very compact and portable. There was the Expedition of Newdale, which is kind of the same thing, but on a larger scale. But it kind of just, oh my goods, just has this value because it's so small and portable. And then there are 2 story expansions that actually add some interesting story. I said the Maracaibo story wasn't all that interesting, but the Oh My Goods story actually is. So
All right.
I
All right.
really like this game. Anyway, moving on. My number 2 game is Orleans. Pulling stuff out of a bag, building, making your actions better, a bunch of expansions, just a great game. Moving around, collecting various vegetables and wool. That part's not so exciting, but really it kind of brought this whole build stuff in a bag, put stuff in a bag and pull it out and make that the contents of that bag better action to the forefront. I really like Orleans.
Yeah, yeah. I really like the mechanics here. Not all of them, but it was a good game. The biggest problem of this game was that it was not good looking enough. And I do have other games that fulfill that kind of excitement for me. Plus, they're gorgeous. So this one just was cold for my collection.
And my
Okay.
number one O game is One Deck Dungeon, a game I talk about all the time. It's a great solo game, very portable, very fun. You're adventuring through a dungeon, fighting monsters, improving your character, and it's just great. I love One Deck Dungeon.
Yeah. One deck and the dungeon. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
my O's are Obscurio. And Obscurio is continuation to Mysterium, at least in my opinion, as a small trading mechanic. It's a simple trading mechanic. It's not that overwhelming. Plus, it's also about giving hints and guessing those different they say doors. Basically, trying to get the right door and getting out of the library. And it has this cool mechanics that you get the traps. Sometimes you put kind of a filter on the cards, and then it's hard to see what the person is hinting to and so on. So really cool things going on there. Or you need to decide while the cards are going out the doors, you need to decide on which card you're going to bid, so on and so on. So as cool mechanics, great continuation of Mysterium, though it's not Mysterium, but whatever. My second O game is Off the Rails. Off the Rails is off the rails. Anyway, it's a game about moving your cart, building those rails, and moving your cart down those rails, trying to grab the gems, and the dice in your cards are speed, value, and so you're increasing, decreasing speed value, trying to collect certain gems. But sometimes you collect coal, which is 0 points, but it will take space in your cart. You need to get your cart in, collect gems, and then out as well, which is really cool. You're not like just scoring points while you're riding on those gems. You need to get them out of the map. That's nice. I like that. And then we have the third O game, which is Onitama. And Onitama is an abstract game, extremely simple game, but very engaging. You have 5 cards. You play kind of a small, also like knife fight in a booth, chess, basically, trying to get to the bigger piece. And through those different patterns of movement. So that's that. That's Onitama. No, I don't hear you. And we have another problem with the sound.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. P is for Primordial Soup, a game about amoebas and the things they poop. This is you're evolving your amoebas. They're not all that great looking. They're sticks with discs on the bottom, and you can put beads on top. But you're moving them around. The artwork's a little quirky, and you buy little genes for them that genetic genes, not venom. and they get better and they survive better, and it's just a great little game, an older one that doesn't get played all that much anymore, one I really like. My number 2 is a game that the version I'm talking about is the one that nobody seems to like, other than, of course, well, I like it, but that is Pandemic Rising Tide, the game that I should have been playing in the Netherlands right now had Eurovision been happening. You're building dams and trying to prevent water from overflowing the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And my number 1 P game is the P game that I know you knew was coming. That is Pulsar 2849.
I adore this game. It's an amazing game.
I agree. A game about a deeply thematic game of space exploration.
Yeah.
Where you're going through space and trying to get as many points as possible. While you're there.
That's what you're doing in space. Yeah.
Well, because that's what I would do in space. Is try and get as many points as possible. I can't really speak to the theme much more than what you're trying to do is get as many points as possible. But I really think it's a lot of fun. There's lots of different ways to get those points, different things you can try, and I really enjoy Pulsar 2849.
Yeah. Okay.
In a way, it's a sequel to Gold West.
Yeah, but no. Let's go to my
1,000
P.
years later.
Let me. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about my piece now. Let's skip this Pulsar. I don't like that.
Make sure we don't use that phrase too often.
Okay. I'll try. I'm sorry. I'm Estonian. Okay. Paperback. My first one. I do like, as I told you, I'm not keen on deck buildings, but if it has kind of a cool, different mechanics, this is a word building game plus deck building game. So it's kind of a very unique style of deck building game. I do like that. So then we have Batch History. And Batch History is very cool. This is one of those games, early games, where I got this feeling of like there was a cool mechanic of putting cards on top and below each other, patching up those different paths and so on, and getting those bigger cards. And it's a civilization game. I do like this kind of a style and this kind of a quirky approach to civilization game. So Batch History. And also the third one is Pioneer Days. Pioneer Days is a kind of, it's a dice game, but you're collecting those different people that give you abilities, and then you are drafting those dice from the center, but there are some cataclysms that going to happen as well. So it's kind of like an engine building game. You're trying to make yourself better, trying to get those right people with right abilities so you can use them to the max and trying to get the right dice. So my 3 P games.
There we go. Well, that was an Express P. Let's go on to Q. Q is a game that there are lots of good games for.
It's a PQ.
We might have some.
Sorry.
We've been minding them. So my first P game, or Q game, excuse me, my number 3 Q game is Quest for El Dorado.
Okay.
An interesting little deck builder where the cards are much too small, but you're using them in sort of a different way to race through and try and get to the end of this track faster than anyone else. It's a fine little deck building game, a fine little race game, works well. The rules are simple. I quite enjoy the Quest for El Dorado.
Okay.
My number 2 Q game. Q was kind of hard, but I went with Queen Domino, the sequel to King Domino, which is even better. And you're placing dominoes and trying to get control of them, build towers on them, gain money, gain special abilities from the tiles you buy. It's a good twist on the King Domino game, and it starts with the letter Q, so it definitely belongs here.
That could be on my list, but I haven't played this one yet. So, yeah.
Oh. And the third one, which is just a game that works so well with so many people, is Die Quacksalber von Quedlinburg. which is that one that I got from Germany and played it. I mean, I was the only person around here who had a copy, so I was playing it all the time because it was in German, and people were wanting to play with me. It's just you're pulling stuff out of the bag, push your luck elements in there, customizing the contents of your little bag so that you can take advantage of special abilities and kind of dilute the negative things that you can find in your bag. And just a great game, light, really fun, really exciting, and very simple, and quite popular among people around here.
Okay.
And it starts with Q.
True. All right. So my 3 Q games. First of all, Quadropolis. It's a game that looks like an app, but it's a really cool. It's a really cool city building game where you are choosing those different buildings through kind of a grid, columns and rows for your engineers, using the numbers and so on, and then you're building up your tableau of different buildings so they interact with each other. It's how they score. The game. Cool, nice, family weight or family plus weight. So I like that. Then we have that's not my strong list. So then we have Quantum, and I enjoyed Quantum. It's not a bad game. I like the dice movement here in relation, like different dice, different pips are basically different ships. They do different stuff. And then you move them around, you fight each other, and it's just a very neat idea. And then we have Warriors. I'm not a biggest fan of Warriors. I liked Dice Masters better, I think. It was hard for me to fill the queues. But Warriors is like Dice Masters, so you have your cards, you have dice for those cards, and there you are just drafting those kind of like a deck building, dice building game.
Yes, it is.
And
it's almost the same.
And fighting each other. So I would say Warriors, Dice Master / Dice Masters, but Warriors here because it's Q. Anyway. Yeah, let's go to R. Yep.
Does not start with Q. R. My number 3 R game is Role Player, a game where you're rolling dice and building a character for an RPG that you'll never play. But it's a lot of fun. It's a nice manipulation game. You're trying to get in certain positions and in certain values and trigger different abilities and buy cards that give you points. And it really feels like nothing else. Well, it feels a little like Sagrada, but it just sort of has a life of its own. It's one I really like. I like it with the first expand player.
I did play it.
Number
really
2
cool game.
R game is a double R, which you did play on. Mm-hmm. My number 2 R game is Russian Railroads, a game with about as much theme as Pulsar. You're traveling around trying to get points on a railroad. You're moving discs along in different colors. It's the same family as First Class and has about as much theme, but it's really good. And I like this one a little bit better even than First Class because you can pick something and just really try it out and make it work. And there's lots of different things you can try. And I like it with both of the expansions. They've both been hits for me. I really like Russian Railroads.
Okay.
And my number 1 R game is a game of asymmetrical woodland combat, and that is Root, a game where you have cute woodland animals that are trying to kill each other in the forest, and you are trying to maximize their different victory conditions, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's hard to describe and hard to teach because there's so many different things you can do, and each of the different characters plays very differently. I just got the expansion for it with the moles and the some other kind of the ravens, and I'm really excited to try it. I've tried it by myself, but I'm excited to try it with somebody else. It's just a great game, and it was an easy pick for the R category.
Okay, yeah, right. So we have one crossover that's Russian Railroad. It seems we have a 2-second delay. So if I say something, you get it 2 seconds later. Yeah. Ooh. Anyway, Russian Railroads, great engine building game.
Mm.
Then we have, I have on my list, I have Red 7. It has a high spot on my list because I played a lot. I've played it a lot, and it's so engaging game, and I can play it with certain people, and everybody who I showed this to really enjoy it, and some of them asked me if they could buy it somewhere, and one of them asked me if I could buy it for him right away, so I did that. So it's just this game worked for me on different occasions, and it's just an amazing card game where you have numbers and colors and rules on those colors basically, and then you are manipulating those so you can be the only survivor during the round, kind of through those different card plays. Okay, so let's go to my third pick. That is Rising Sun. Rising Sun, big sprawling game. We talked about Blood Rage is a spiritual successor to Blood Rage, which is Rising Sun, where it's about like you choose an action, you get the bonus, everybody else can kind of follow, and the really cool combat system where not all the locations do combat at once, but it shows you what locations will battle, in what locations there will be battles, and the battles are really cool where you have this kind of a bidding on your own, and then you're revealing that, and then you can bluff with that, and clans have different abilities. Huge, big, cool game with different abilities, monsters, clans, and huge map. I haven't even pre-map. So that's Rising Sun. Let's go to S. And we have a delay again.
Our list, but I figured you'd probably talk about it. All right, are we ready for my S?
Yes, if you heard me.
I don't know why we're having a delay. Maybe it's because you're in Estonia. And I'm...
Yeah.
Anyway. My S Spirit, a game that I set up and play a lot, just really enjoy it. And you're trying to off the island, and you're using all of your tricks to do so. Very lot going on. You have on that game, the better.
You said Spirit Island,
but it starts with S, and I really like it. S was a hard letter for me for the opposite reason, because I have so many games I really like that start with S.
Spirit Island, was it? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes, Spirit Island.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay.
My second S game, my number 2. I was talking ago. My second S game is Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Okay.
I don't know if you are.
I do hear you, but you go away right now. Okay.
This is fun.
We need to solve that. Maybe it's just
the second S game. I'm just gonna keep talking, I guess, because
now we have
a
problem.
I have no idea why the delay is going on. Anyway.
Yeah, there's some kind of a connection problem. I just don't hear you at all.
You're obviously with.
I'm sorry, folks. This is kind of a big.
You hear me because I stopped talking because you were so far behind. So it's this delay that's doing it. I don't know how to know if I should keep going.
Look at the video.
Say something so that I know.
Oop. And Kyle went away. Sorry, folks, about technical connection. I don't know what's going on. It's we're streaming US versus Estonia, and probably has some problems on one or the other end, and then it just doesn't work that well through those different connections. I think I'm gonna continue with my S. We're gonna see if Kyle can join us eventually. So his first two were Sentinels Multiverse and Spirit Island. I don't have any of these on my list here, but all right, let me go through mine. Then I think we're not gonna. Oh, I think Kyle is gonna be back soon. Maybe he's here. Let me see.
Yep, I'm
Are
here
you
now.
here? Okay.
I'm here now. I've moved closer to it so that I'm not working with my headphones anymore. You can see a nice close-up of my face. We were on Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Yes.
All right.
So you can hear me
a game
better,
I talk
yeah?
about.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Well, the sound's not amazing, but that's because we're on a different speaker system here. But that's all right. So I like Sentinels a lot. It's a game I play all the time. It's a game it requires 7 brains to play, but you've got a nice superhero fight that you're going through, and you have different characters with different powers fighting lots of different bad guys. There's also a big super bad guy you can fight, which is even better. I just really like this game. And my number 1 S game, I probably don't even need to tell you, but that is, of course, Summoner Wars. And a game that I'm always looking to play and always annoying people with. A game of combat, asymmetrical characters, different decks, some deck construction, a lot of just really good tactical movement and combat. A game that I really adore. Summoner Wars.
Okay. That's good. That's fine. I played some of those. I think I played all of those of yours, but then they're not on my list. So while you were away, I was thinking about if I should start my list, and I think we found the problem. I think that probably the connection of your Bluetooth plus the over the sea connection, over the ocean connection, was a little bit too much, maybe. So,
well,
but anyway,
I'm right here now, and I can see you, so at least we can communicate that way.
Yeah.
Well, did you already do your S while you were waiting for me?
No. I kind of started, but then I saw you coming back. So, all right. So my 3 S's are first of all Santorini. Let's go for it really fast. Santorini is an abstract game. You move and build. You want to get to the 3rd floor of the whatever the house, and so on. So then my number 2 is like it's not in particular order, but my second game is Scythe, amazing engine building game with cool kind of a uncover spots and something
To
makes
make
them
things.
yeah, uncover spots, upgrade yourself, so basic kind of thing, and then moving on the board, getting resources. Scythe talks to itself. It's very popular game, amazing game. And then we have Stockpile. I just played Stockpile yesterday again. I just love Stockpile. It's a never-ending fairy tale for me because it's just so easy to teach and so easy to follow, and it's just a cool putting those cards down and bidding on them. Some cards are face down, some cards are face up, and then you have those stocks going up or down, and you have to speculate on that and get the most money at the end of the game. And those revelations in this game are hilarious, in my opinion. So that's my 3 S games.
All right, let's move on to tea.
Yeah.
Time for tea. My first tea game is the game that I played all week last week, and I think the week before. A game that it's another one of those ones where I don't play it all the time, but when I do, I get it out and I'll just leave it and play through it. And that is Too Many Bones. A huge game, a complicated game, a game of sort of upgrading your character and fighting a big bad and then doing it again. It's just a lot of fun. I really like it. I'm super excited for the expansion that's on its way out. There's like 10 different characters in there in the current one, and they're all very different and lots of different villains to fight. I just really like Too Many Bones. It's not cheap though, so be aware of that.
Okay.
And it's not light or easy to store. My second one is a game that if we did my top 10 from last year would definitely make an appearance. It's almost replaced Seventh Continent for me, and that is Tainted Grail. It's a game of exploration in sort of a dark Arthurian legend world, and it's just really great. And I played it through one time and the whole story, and I didn't see nearly half of the things that there were to see, so I'm going to have to play it through again. I'm convinced I could have a very different adventure. Really great game. I really like Tainted Grail.
Okay.
And my last one, the last tea game, and we're going through my top 10 with a lot that they're showing up on this list, and that is Twilight Struggle, a game of stress during the Cold War. You're one of the superpowers during the Cold War, kind of competing for control of the world and influencing different areas. It's more subtle than your general war or area control game, but it has these nice historical flavors to it. Really a great game. And I'm super excited for its sister game, Imperial Struggle, to come out in the fall.
Okay. Yeah.
So those are my teas.
All right. My teas are, first of all, Time Stories. Though it has ups and downs through different scenarios, I still enjoy quite a few scenarios that some people said they didn't enjoy. But I mean, like, the people who said they didn't enjoy these scenarios were those, it's like loud minority kind of thing. In my opinion, it was just like there were quite a few people who just expressed it in the reviews and so on, and it's valid opinion, but I don't think this game is that bad. It has those problems, but if you go past those, repeating your adventure again and again, kind of a run again and again, it has cool stories. I like the story, not the ending, but I don't know. I just enjoyed every of my experiences except I think one. Even that one was cool, but just was underwhelming compared to all the others. So then we have my second T game, which is Topum, and
you like this game, I know.
I do. I don't have it, by the way. I need to get it back, but I don't know how. But
just buy it from their website.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I bought some games from their website a couple of weeks ago, and it was in stock.
Oh, maybe they got it back. Okay, I didn't check for
website?
It for some. Yeah. So basically, Topum is you need to get the line of sight between the two malls, and then you have those different cards and those different cards with different abilities, and you can mix and match those cards for each game, so you can have a very different game each time. So it's kind of a different combinations going on, but it's very simple. You're getting those holes out, and then you're trying to create the line of sights. Bigger line of sights, more points. Great game. Then we have Trickerion, Legends of Illusion. I don't have it, and I would prefer Anachrony to that, but I haven't seen another game to create such a strong experience of having kind of a not that kind of a Harry Potter magic, but more like a Victorian magic, like stage magic and so on, with like kind of like a real tricks. It had some kind of a magical flavor to it as well in that game, like a story or something like that. But it's a really cool action selection, simultaneous action selection, and worker placement game. You need a lot to consider. The kind of the cool part and downside of this game at the same time is this kind of a long chain reaction that you need to go through in order to achieve something. which is
Yes.
frustrating and which is great, which I don't like in viticulture, but I do like here. So
Okay. In the meantime, I checked on the Looping Games website, and Topham is available for only 36 euros. So I know how you can
okay,
get one.
okay, that's fine. Then I'll look for that if the shipping isn't like 36
Well,
euros as
I
well.
can't speak to that. I just
Yeah.
All right. So we're ready for you.
For me, yeah, sure.
Well, all of my U games start with un. I just noticed that. So my first un game is Undaunted, another deck
Okay,
building game,
I'll play that one.
World War II game where you're fighting. You know, you've got your armies, and that's sort of the deck building aspect. Is the different soldiers you've got, and you're trying to achieve different objectives. It's a great little two-player deck building game, one that I quite enjoy.
Yeah.
My second game is Underwater Cities.
Crossover.
That feels. I figured it would be.
Yeah.
That's one that I showed to you on the cruise 2 times ago, and I still haven't played with the expansion. I don't know why I was in such a hurry to get it, since I then
I got the
played with it,
expansion as
but
well, by the way. Just
did you play
recently.
with it?
No, I just got it recently. It wasn't out
Oh.
for some time here, so.
Well, I got it in January and still haven't played with it, but it's just a great game. I really like it. It's got this nice, you've got some sort of income building that you're doing, but you're just sort of trying to get the cards and the actions you need so that you can score in the way that you decide to.
Yeah, I mean, there's already enough game in the base game anyway, so it's not like
certainly.
it's not like you need to grab the expansion right
No.
away. So you can
Well, I
play
did
this game
because
quite a
it was
lot.
available.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, true. I just wanted to get the recessed boards, but the artifacts and museum stuff also sounds cool, and those different action cards starting abilities things. So
yeah, I'm gonna need to get that out at some point because I was so excited about the expansion. Anyway.
okay,
My number 1 U game is Unmatched, a game of combat. You've got 2 different characters from different worlds, properties, whatever. I recently got the Jurassic Park expansion, and I really liked that. I played, it's the one with the raptors against the hunter. But I like all of the different sets so far. It's light, it's fast, deterministic combat. Lots of special abilities that you've got to watch out for and manipulate. Lots of tactical movement. Really enjoy it. The boards don't look great. So, it's one of those areas where the functionality, it functions really well, but it kind of makes the board look a little bit messy. But I really like the game in spite of that, and the artwork is fantastic.
okay, yeah. I was kind of a little bit underwhelmed with that game. Just
You
not
just
for
didn't
me.
play it 30 times in a row. That's that's what you've got to do.
That's the only reason. Yes, sure. Okay. Anyway, so Underwater Cities was my one of my U games. Then there's Us as well, and it's U.S. Telegraph. U.S. Telegraph is the what's the older game?
Attica.
Attica, yes. But I haven't played the Attica. I played U.S. Telegraph. It just looks cool. But you're basically getting those buildings out, building on those different number spots, getting the resources and kind of getting connections of those buildings. Where is it? The board itself, basically here. So very nice, very engaging, very easy game where you're trying to kind of get the connections through the map by building out those different buildings and getting resources. So easy. Yeah.
I'll have to
Not
try
much
it sometime. I've not tried it, so I can't speak to it.
my EU is not the strongest here, but US Telegraph was a nice experience. And Ulm, I don't remember the whole gameplay of Ulm, but I really, I mean, like, no, I just don't. I played it a long time ago, and I mean, like, it's not one of my strongest alphabets here. U is not my choice, but
Okay.
Ulm was still an enjoyable experience. because it doesn't show you the whole board, but basically you have this kind of a grid on the right side, and then you are choosing a column or row, and you're pushing those tiles through that. Whatever you pushed out, you get to use, and that's a really cool mechanic. And then you are using those, and these are the actions that you can do during your turn. Yeah, it has the kind of a classic feel of Euro going on there.
Yes.
With
I'm surprised it was on your list, actually.
Yeah, but I liked it. I like the grid mechanic that you're pushing out the actions. So that's the biggest part of that. Let's go to V.
V for Vendetta. All right. My first V is Vast. I already had Root. I like Root better than Vast, but they're very similar games. You've got characters that are going through a cave trying to achieve victory goals. One is dragon, one is a knight, one is a set of goblins with really complicated rules. You've just got these different characters that you're trying to figure out what they want to do and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of little, sort of tile reveal and tile placement. It's not as clean as Root. I definitely find Root to be the superior game in a lot of aspects, but I really enjoy Vast also. I was really excited about it when it came out at that Gen Con. I remember the Dice Tower show, they talked about it, and immediately everybody rushed to that booth and bought it because they were so excited about it. Anyway, I also have the version with the miniatures now. Not necessary, but a lot of fun. And I also have the Mysterious Manor version, which is sort of an interesting take on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
My second V might be on your list, and that is Vindication. Vindication, a game, I don't know if I played it with you, but you played it while you were on the cruise, I remember.
True, it's on my list, and true, I played it on the cruise, but not with you. I played with...
Right. I think you were doing something. I was doing something else at that time. But you've got
Summer
this
of Wars,
character,
I
you're
think.
upgrading them, you've got different victory conditions, or end game conditions that are going to come out and speed the end of the game as you go through it.
Yeah.
You're moving around, doing different things, upgrading what you want. It's a very charming game for me.
Very nice, kind of expanding your resource pool and kind of manage your resources to the max.
Yep.
So, yeah, getting upgrades for that. Okay.
And my number one V game is The Voyages of Marco Polo.
Okay.
A game that I suspect will not be on your list, but it's it's your classic game of moving around Europe,
looking boring,
Asia,
yeah,
trying to find spices and bring them back. But the fun part of the game, I mean, you've got sort of some dice placement in this game, and the interesting thing about that is it's a worker placement style game, except that you're never really blocked. So that's nice, and you've got all the special powers that you're able to use, and they're all very strong and feel really different. And I just find it to be such an entertaining game. I have not tried the second version with the weird grammar in the German title, but I'm excited to try that at some point anyway as well. But I really like the original Voyages of Marco Polo.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So my V games. My number one V. So sorry. So Vindication. I already told you that it's a crossover. My second one is World Wars. World Wars is an action game where you are. I talked about that one already before. It's storage wars in a fantasy world where you are opening
your destiny.
Yeah, you're kind of opening vaults, but you can see only partial information about the vault, and then you are bidding on that vault in order to get cool parts from that. But sometimes you get only junk, and it has cool different vaults. It didn't have this game suffered from not having enough support and expansions in order to make it, the complete great experience, but I still enjoyed it quite much. And then my third one is Valley of the Kings. I played it recently.
Oh,
Valley of the Kings, and I have The premium edition, yeah, I do have the premium edition. I sold my value of the game at some point. It was like I don't think I'm gonna play it again. But then I was like, I'm missing that game. It's such a great game. I like that a lot, and because it's such a neat. It's a classic deck building, and that's where I contradict myself. I'm not into classic deck buildings, but this one has really cool powers, and the only way you score points is that you entomb those cards and put them in your tomb, and then you get the set collection going on there as well. It's not just just buy all the cards and then look through your deck at the end of the game and get that many points. It's dumb. Dominion is dumb nowadays, in my opinion. Thank you. But Value of the Kings just really makes it a much better game and much better scoring. So,
okay,
let's go to W.
All
like more U. It's W. Yes.
My first W game is Welcome to ...
Welcome to ...
Welcome to ... is a game where you've got this board with 3 different streets, and you're flipping. There's 3 cards that are flipped over, and you'll select a number and a special ability, and you're putting the numbers in from left to right. It's almost the roll and write style game. Actually, I've got a special thing right now. It just arrived in the mail. Is Welcome to New Las Vegas. I'm excited to try that. But it's just a great, light, fast game where there's just a lot of different things you can do, and I really enjoy it.
Okay.
It's also a good travel game. My second game is W game, which I'm sure is not going to be on your list. Is the first game I ever stayed up all night playing with my friends. I mean, we played this game like at least 10 times in a row. We stayed up until the wee hours of the morning. The game is
Wingspan?
Web of Power.
Oh, well.
No, Web of Power. It's Wingspan's a little too new for that. Web of Power is a game. It doesn't look like very much, but it's even hard to describe. But you're trying to get these monasteries on the board so that you can score for different areas, and then you're also trying to get these little ugly cylinders that roll all over the table in the center so that you can score extra bonuses for the different areas. It's not thematic at all. I think it's long out of print, but it's just a fascinating little game that I really quite enjoy. Web of Power.
Okay.
And my number 1 W game is Wingspan because, hey, it starts with W and I love to play it. I love Wingspan solo. I love it with friends. I have bought lots of upgrades for Wingspan. I have had it out on my table for weeks now, and sometimes when I'm bored, I'll sit down and play around. I just really like Wingspan. It's a great looking game, and it works well with a lot of different groups and in a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah, I do like Wingspan. It's a crossover. Also on my list. I do have the European expansion as well. I haven't tried the European expansion.
No, it's just more Wingspan.
yeah, true. But I got the insert for Wingspan, the wooden one.
Okay.
I don't remember what's the company. I think Broken Token, maybe. Anyway, that's that. And let's go to my 3 games. Wingspan, I told you already. And my second one is Wasteland Express Delivery Service. And although
like that game.
I like that game. I mean, like, my W is also not that, extremely powerful list of games, and I don't own Wasteland anymore, but I don't own most of the games I have on my list here. But I did like the whole concept of pick up and deliver through this kind of a Mad Max universe, operating your truck as well and going through and fighting bandits. The biggest problem of the game is that it's just very big game, many rules, many details. If you get through that, it's a great experience. So, and then we have my third game, which is World's Fair 1893. World Fair 1893, another game from Alex Kevern. That's where Alex Kevern was a great designer, in my opinion. Gold West, and then this is the prototype, I think. But anyway, Gold West and World's Fair, and in this one you are also collecting those different cards, trying to get the area control in those different tiles. It's also like a classic Euro game, very elegant, very cool set collection things going on there as well, area control. And that's where I feel like Alex Cameron was really good. Once he went further into making more and more and more games for Renegade Games, I felt like he went down the road, making a lot of mediocre games and not really concentrating on, doing what he does best, mid-weight classic games. And he started doing some weird stuff that I don't know if I cannot say nobody cares about, but I don't know. His Gold West is talked about. Everything else, not really. In my opinion, at least. Anyway, let's go to X.
All right. Well, X is obviously not an easy letter, but I at least got 3. The first one is one that I haven't played for a while, but I remember thinking it was interesting, and that is Xenon Profiteer, a deck building game. Don't remember that much about it, other than it had some sort of interesting ways that you were trying to collect and use the cards, but it was a fairly traditional deck builder.
Oh, wait. I played that one.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't. Oh, no, I remember that one.
Yeah, I like Xenon Profiteer.
Maybe I had that one, but I eventually...
Got rid of it?
I probably had that one and I never got played. I just don't remember.
It probably wouldn't make any of my top 10 lists normally, but for my top 3 X games, there aren't that many.
Or maybe I played it, but I don't have the rating, so I don't know if I remember having it. So at least that, yeah.
It's a small box game, barely fits in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, second X game is Xeno Shift.
I played this one. Okay. Yeah.
What?
No, I think I played that one, but I just look at that and I do remember those elements, but nothing else. Yeah.
Xeno Shift is an interesting cooperative game where what you're doing is you're trying to survive an onslaught of various aliens that are attacking your base, and you're building, you're buying the units and weapons for them, and then there's going to be an onslaught phase where the aliens are going to come and hammer at you, and your goal is to survive. It doesn't matter if everybody dies as long as the base stays safe. And then after a little while, the aliens are going to get stronger, but you get access to better cards. And then the aliens are going to get stronger again, and you have access to the best cards. And if you make it through all the waves, hey, you win.
Yeah.
So that's a game that starts with X. And the last game, the number one game I have with X is Zaya Legends of a Drift System. This was a Kickstarter game back in the day, and you've got a spaceship, and you're sailing through space, and you're doing something. You can decide whatever you want to do. It's actually a roll and move game, which is, you don't see very many of those talked about very highly, but this one is pretty good. And you can upgrade your ship. You can put different boosters in there that let you go faster or shoot farther. You can stop and investigate space, or just sail in and hope everything's okay. You can trade, you can fight, you can do whatever you want. Just you're trying to get points, and you figure out the way you'd like to do it. Unlike Pulsar, which does not feel very thematic, this one really does feel like a space game, though.
Okay. True that.
And it's huge.
Yeah. I'll play that one. All right. So my X is the weakest because I only have one game on that list.
Any crossovers?
If you no, no, I have I don't know if you played that one. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Zion. It's here. It's really hard to find this one. But it's you build your own terracotta army. It's not the best game. It was
I've not played this
fine.
game.
It was okay. I liked it. I mean, like it wasn't like extremely cool game, but I like building the terracotta army in the center. But yeah, it didn't have very strong mechanics there. Still, nice game.
Yeah,
Cool
I'm
looking.
looking at it here on the screen where it's a little bit bigger. Huh, that's interesting. I've not really even heard of it. So
Oh, it came out.
There you
It
are.
like Metacat was distributing that, and I think they wanted to sell it, but I don't know if Metacat did the version as well. Yeah, you can see, but the components for that, at least the initial version that was in Essen, well, I mean, like
yeah, it looks interesting.
these are cool. The miniatures are cool, but we had problem with the count of the miniatures. But
Oh.
everything else, like I think they put all the money into miniatures, and then they're like, we have €5 left. Let's print 1,000 copies with €5. Everything else
Okay.
is like it's a toilet paper kind of a thing. It felt
That's funny.
very bad. I mean, like yes,
Okay.
at
There
least
you
for
go.
me. Not all of the components. I mean, like some of the components, but they felt cheap, except the miniatures. Anyway,
Great. I love cheap components.
let's go to and that's where you need to ask the question why, and that's the next step in our.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
why?
that's what you get for that.
Okay.
Anyway, my number 3 Y game is Yggdrasil, an old, hard, rough cooperative game that was really quite punishing.
Why
I quite
Brazil?
like it though. I had a lot of fun with it back in the day. It even came out with it was one of the earlier board game apps that came out as well. But you're one of the various Norse gods, and you're
Right.
fighting against a horde of these monsters
Oh, you
that are
have the new
coming trying
version.
to attack you. Sorry?
It has the new version, which is basically like Yggdrasil second edition.
Yeah,
Something like that.
it has the new version, and I have the new version. And as soon as I figured out that you have to spend all that time putting that stupid tree together each time you pull it out of the box, it made me less desirable to play it.
Okay.
Because it was a nightmare to put together. I am interested in trying the new version, but I'm speaking only to the old version because I haven't played the new. The old version had a lot of it's remembered for a reason. It was a good, hard cooperative game.
Yeah. Okay.
My number 2 Y game is Yokohama. Yokohama is an interesting. This is a huge table hog. The biggest problem with the game is that it's difficult to place it in a way that people can see the whole board. But
Yeah. Too much.
There's a lot going on the board. But really, what you're doing is you're moving your worker around, and you're building a path of like little helping workers that can help them to get to different places farther away. And the more that then you've got actions you're trying to perform, contracts you're trying to fulfill, goods you're trying to collect. It's just a great game. It really works well. I'm excited. I have the dual version, but it's the cheap copy. I'm excited for the deluxe version to come out. I really like Yokohama. I just wish the graphic design were a little bit easier to use, and the board was a little bit more accessible, because as it is, I think it maxes out at about 3, just due to some usability issues. But I really like it. Yokohama.
Yeah, Yokohama. Yeah, the board issue. It's Istanbul on steroids, and it's a nice game, but yeah, it's just a little bit too much. It's where you look at this game, like even if you know how to play this game, for example, and you enjoy this game and you know how everything works, you say to somebody who hasn't played this game, you show them that game on the table, you say, let's play. The person looks at all these icons and says, no, please, no,
It
I want to
just
live.
looks like a complicated game.
Yes, that's the
You
thing.
see that and you think this is really complicated,
That's
even
where
though it isn't. But it just looks like it is.
they should have done something with that. Maybe streamlined the game even more, made it smaller. They didn't need to make it that kind of a heavy. And I can. I know.
Anyway.
I feel this game kind of a, but it's a very popular game. So, and I
And
had
my
the
number
deluxe version.
one,
Yeah.
my number one Y game is our crossover, I'm sure, and that's Yamatai. Which
We have a Yamatai here. Yes, it's a tie. Yeah, it's a crossover.
I mean, it's a great little game. You've got
Sorry.
all these. You're building this network of boats, and the boats around the islands kind of depend on show how you can build it. I don't really even know how to describe it, but there's some interesting bidding in it for turn order that I like. There's lots of different special abilities. It just really works well, especially with a small player count, especially with 2.
I mean, the funny part is that there are two different kinds of people. Like, at least at that moment, when we played it, review this one, it had the people say that, oh, it's nothing like Five Tribes, and it's kind of it isn't. But if you look at that, if you go into the mechanics, if you look at that, it's kind of a upside down Five Tribes, and it is. It's a different version of Five Tribes, kinda. If you look at that game and look at Five Tribes, if Five Tribes is deconstruction of the board, this is a construction of the boards. But putting buildings out and having those specialists that boost your actions, I like this one. I like the specialists in this one more. They give you kind of, they make you better, quicker, and kind of make you more powerful. They're very cool.
Yeah, I like it, and it looks good too. It's just an all-around good game, even if we have to call it, as you've said, a deconstructed Five Tribes or whatever.
Yeah.
How would that be a backwards Five Tribes?
Backwards Five Tribes.
Seberteviv.
Yeah, that's the curse word.
Seberteviv.
Yeah. Anyway, my 2 Y games, and you said one of those crossovers was Yamatai, and the second one is Yokohama.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So we talk about that, and then we go to Z.
Z is very easy as long as the first word in your game is zombie. But
it's not.
Z is a rough one for me, and I cheated just a little bit, as you'll see.
Okay.
My first Z game, my number 3 Z game, is Zoo Loretto.
Okay.
Great little game where you're building up a zoo. You've got an interesting thing. You're drawing things out and putting them on these they're called trucks, but it's this little wooden thing. And the more you put out there, the more people can get. And you're then buying animals and having them kind of together at the right time so that they can have children. It's a cute game. It has 1,000,003 expansions, which it doesn't really need. But it works well. It's one I haven't played for a while, but now that I'm talking about it, it makes me want to get it out again. I quite like Zoo Loretto.
Okay.
My number 2 Z game is the only one that has the word zombie in the title, and that is my favorite of the Zombicide games, Zombicide Green Horde. In this game, you're fighting in a medieval world against zombie orcs, and but all the Zombicide games are kind of the same. They make a few rules changes here or there, and in this one, you're fighting against zombie orcs, and they're big and rough and tough, and there's hedges that you can go through, and then suddenly one will appear, and there's a big catapult you can use to attack the zombies. It's kind of a wild, crazy game that there's way more theme than game, perhaps, but I really like it. It's charming for me. Zombicide Green Horde.
Okay.
And so those 2 are not cheats, but my third one is, and that is Zug Zug, which is, of course, the German name for Ticket to Ride. But I didn't want to put any more zombie games on the list. So there you have it. Zug Zug. Everybody knows this game. And
there's the just really fast. Zug Zug. There's the 1972 game Zug Zug.
That is not the one that I mean. I mean the one that you were just showing.
Let's put that one. This one has trains as well. Ticket to Ride it's a plug. Oh my God. No, we found the real Ticket to Ride. Okay.
I'm gonna
looks like that.
game.
Looks
Wow.
Cool. Urr, this elephant.
Das fröhliche Anlegespiel.
Like one leg spiel. Okay.
No, it's like a playing cards game, laying cards out game.
And it says something. Association. I hope so.
I
in the
can't
corner
see it. It's too small. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Look at that now. Do you see that? The logo.
That's amazing.
I'm sorry about that. It's the weird crap jokes.
Oh
but
my goodness.
you need to get that now.
I need to find that game. I am looking for it right now as we are speaking.
It's just like the logo and oh my God. Okay, anyway.
That is amazing. That made my life.
Okay, so let's go to my last 3 games. And I do have 3 games, but Z's wasn't one of my weak points at this game here. My first one is
game. Oh, that's what it means. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Granny Penguins, investment game of ass. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, Zany Penguins, Zany Penguins it's a card. Yeah, it's a card game where you are getting those penguins out, and they have some abilities, and it's a very simple card game. Anyway, then we have Zoo Ball. A Zoo Ball is kind of a weird game. I did like really that though, but I did like that. I mean, like the biggest problem was that play mat, which was just abysmal. I mean, like it just was folding on different. I mean, like you couldn't get it flat, but
which you need for flicking stuff.
Yes, but it was really cool flicking game in my opinion. It's like the football with flicking. And you have those 3 pitchers, whoever they are, and the goalie and whatever, with animals. It was extremely simple. Great idea. I like to play it, but oh man, the board, though they made it. I know why they made it this material is that because it was sliding really well on that one, but they didn't get the problem of when you fold it, you cannot make it flat again. So, and my last one is, and that's also a big stretch, Zorro the dice game.
Which one? The dice game?
The Zorro dice game. And that's extremely simple game where you are rolling dice and trying to match the symbols on the cards so you can get them.
Hey, it starts with a Z. It's better than Zug.
Not that last one. That one is cool. But yeah, it's like you're pushing your luck, rolling times. It's a Yahtzee mechanic, rolling 3 times, trying to get the cards and so on. So that's Zorro the dice game, or the Zorro dice game. So, and that's it for this alphabetic list. And I feel extremely tired from talking too much. And it's already
it's a good 2.5 hours.
It's almost 2 a.m. here as well. So
and we had for sleeping. I'm going to look for ass on the internet.
I would not recommend typing exactly these 3.
Yeah, I might find the wrong thing.
Letters. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be able to find this game, but I really need it now. It's going onto my Grail list.
Maybe you can find it on the what is it, on the Board Game Geek.
Well, there's nothing for sale there. That's what I was looking, but I'm gonna have to look at like German eBay and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe.
I'll find my Zug ass at some point.
I think it maybe never came out because it seems like it never came out.
No, it looks like it did. It's just doesn't have any ratings because it's so old, and looks like it's only ever came out in German.
There's a Swedish version about that as well.
Oh.
It's called
there's a Swedish version of the Zug that we know and love.
Tak patak. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
But I need this version that has that logo on it.
Okay. True that. But anyway, thank you for watching, and sorry for the
Despite
interruptions.
a few technical difficulties, but hey,
Quite a few.
we're learning.
Yes. It's kind of a live thing going on here, so we cannot fix it that fast. Anyway, see you another
We've got
time.
to do a regular episode sometime.
We will. Yeah, I have some ideas how to boost the different segments. We'll see about that, and then we're gonna get back to the regular Würfel Cast episode, and I need to do some reviews as well. So
Yes, you do. I do too, but yeah. And I made you that video about solo games, but maybe it didn't work very well.
oh, I don't know. Maybe I just forgot about that one. So.
Oh, okay. Well, at some point, if you want to post it, you can.
Oh, I found that one. Okay, I see. Yes. Now I see that. It was.
I mean, I did make it a month
It was
ago.
somewhere. I forgot it was here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go through that as well. Okay, that's
All
good.
right.
That's good. Thank you,
Well, get some rest.
everybody.
And I'm
Bye-bye.
going to go on my quest to find this game.
And we're going out in 3, 2,
All right.
1.